And I'm gonna read you guys her request so we all know what this is about. So she says, "Hey Lonnie, I've been really working on strengthening my intuition so I can be the best guide that I can be, to living a life that is really most fulfilling, suited for me and in my highest good. I've really been strengthening my intuition and my relationship with myself, and it's made me really want to be able to give myself everything I deserve and more. I do, however, feel intuitively that I could use some guidance at this time, specifically surrounding again how to really show up as my highest self and give myself the best possible life that I can. And also soul purpose and career." And my stomach just started growling. Hey Sky. Um fuck. Because I'm passionate about and interested in a lot of different things, but sometimes I worry I'll stretch myself too thin, pursuing too much. I've been getting into doing personal readings myself, but when it comes to connecting with my spiritual team and getting messages from them, I have a much harder time than just doing so for others. My cat is like rolling around. You can't see her, but she's like super. Like I haven't seen her in a couple days, so that could be part of the reason why. Um, but yeah, she's like rolling all over these cards that I'm about to pull from. She's being actually really cute. But she actually got I want to see if I can show you, but she's a black cat, and she has a little. Can you just? She's like a little hidden scar right here, and you can literally see her skin. Something must have cut her, and it like happened like overnight. So I'll get to that in a second, just in case that's relevant, because like you do mention my cat in this request. So uh, when it comes to connecting to my spiritual team and getting messages from them, I have a much harder time than just doing so for others. So I'm really excited to get some advice and guidance from them. I'm also excited to get a reading from you because I love the way that you read. Thank you. And thank you in advance for your help. Dude, you're welcome. Thank you for choosing me. Um, I actually feel like I'm in a good spot right now in comparison to the last time I got a reading from you. And I was in one of her dreams apparently, which is awesome because she said she was petting my cat, and she's being a character right now. So, but yeah, she has a little injury in the back of her head. This is my angel cat, and I haven't really been reading tarot. Like, when is the last time you guys are gonna see me? I don't even know the last time I made a video, and I'm sorry about that. It took me a little longer than I thought to get to this, but I feel like I had to like go through some character development myself in order to like really connect with this energy. Because as soon as I got home, the first thing that was on my mind was like, do this tarot reading, do this one like right now. And at the time that I'm recording this, it is 9:57 p.m. So it's I don't know. It's got the "you're ready now" kind of a feeling. So if you feel like you're like hanging in limbo and kind of like a weird spot, it could be a result of like some of the recovery that you could be under. And it might not be like a fatal wound. Like right, like you might my stomach is growling. I'm not even really hungry. It's just so weird. You can't hear? No way. My headphones are on. It's the trick of the enemy, dude. Trick of the goddamn enemy. Anyways, Isabella knows what this reading's about, so I'm not gonna repeat all of that. And that could be part of the message here is to keep some things to yourself or like stay private because there could be like this energy of people wanting to injure you or like get in the way of what you have going on for whatever reason. My main this is my main public outface. So social media, what I do online, is kind of a lot of how I'm known in the world. So I receive a lot of attacks here. But if you have like a job, or you're in school, or you have a relationship, this could be a time when you want to kind of like keep things like on the low down or like locked down, secret, if not just private. Hey V, hey everybody who's in the chat. This is gonna be kind of like a open-ended reading because she didn't put too much. Like there's some things that she wanted to know specifically, but I think I'm just gonna like kind of let this energy like lead me because it just kind of came upon me. So we're gonna start with some oracle. I'm gonna use these chakra decks and then the wisdom of the oracle because I kind of just want to see what's coming out for you right now that like I need to say right now. And right now could be like significant because you booked this like maybe like a month ago, but it's like maybe some of the stuff I have to tell you is relevant to right now, like the beginning of August, because this is like the beginning of a new season, um, like according to our calendar year. So that could be part of the significance of why I'm doing this now rather than in the past, because I also just got back from visiting my family. And I was looking at your last name and I was wondering if you're Italian, because something about your last name makes me feel like you could be Italian. Her name is Isabella. I don't know why I'm getting this Italian off of you, especially because you mentioned that like you pet my cat and then my cat means a certain thing to me. Like my cat, she's an Aries stellium. My dad is an Aries. My mom also has Aries moon. And now she's like, yeah, she's doing stuff that makes me feel like I'm right about that. So I wonder if your family is relevant to like some of the things that are going on in your life right now. Even if they're not like directly involved, it could be just that like their influence on you plays a role in your energy right now. Because it's like the people who are closest to you have the most ability to hurt you, right? And she has a little wound on the back of her head right now that she's still healing from. And it's not worth like going to the vet over. But she definitely has it. Her personality is the same. She's still being fun and free. But I don't know if that means that it doesn't hurt or it's just that, she's an Aries cat, so she's strong. I don't really know. My stomach is growling and I'm not hungry, and this is so weird. So weird. We have renewal and enlightenment coming up. So, angels, ancestors, and spirit guides, please help me to direct this reading in a way that's going to be helpful for Isabella. Help me to see what the message is for her and what the common themes are. Like, could be overarching this video. I'm gonna let this be as long as it needs to be. What does Isabella need to hear from this deck right now? Vanity came out in the reverse, but I'll show it to you upright. Bittersweet is also in the reverse. Fuck, my hand is blocking the light. This is, okay, I think I understand where this is going. This kind of feels like a message that's about duality. Because, like, my cat represents something to me, like a wound that I have, that I specifically need comfort with. Yeah, and now she's meowing. And there's, like, something about a duality where, like, I'll just be, like, really vulnerable here for a second, which is uncomfortable for me about this specifically. But I have like wounds from my father. I have daddy issues, and I wonder if you're dealing with any duality in your life right now where you're like, okay, this is a person that I really love and I really care about, and then this is also kind of how they hurt me. And I have to figure out what I need to do for myself that protects myself, but also doesn't like destroy what I'm building outside of myself. Like that kind of just seems like what it is. Like I care to be attached to you, or to this thing, or to a situation, or whatever. But it's like bittersweet. It's like it hurts, or like whatever. And it could also be like a thing that's happening in other people's relationships with you, right? Because I also have a sister, and right now she's recovering from the fact that I was gone, like that I left the home. So there could be times when the choices that you make or that are relevant to this time right now in your life kind of have like this double-edged sword to it. Like, what am I doing for me, and how does that affect other people around me, and what can I take, what can I accept, what can I tolerate, what can I let go of that might make it easier for me to move through some of this energy if I'm still holding on to like pain, resentment, grudges, stuff like that. Because I have Aries in my 8th house, so this is definitely like a sensitive kind of energy. And you're petting my Aries cat. Like, she represents protection that I have over my 8th house stuff. Like, my really touchy, scorpionic, dark stuff in the closet you don't see. she's the one who guards that stuff. And she's laying like all over the cards, like rubbing herself all over these cards. Even my diary, my notebook here. She's like flipping a page. She's moving backwards in my diary. So there could be, I don't know if you have a diary, if you've ever kept a diary, there could be a value to like looking back. I was even talking to this guy earlier, and I went like, I have a specific person that I've been talking to her about, and I went like back in our messages to like earlier in the year, and I was like, oh shit, I did say that. Or I did do that. I did feel that way in the past. And then the cool thing about that was I found that some of the feelings that were really intense for me in the beginning of this year are not so intense now. My cat is really moving around. So I feel like there could be a lot of transitional energy. She's pushing my fan. She's gonna like push it off the bed. Can you like chill? I'm almost nervous about that, but I don't want to be. You probably definitely need to like keep an eye on your own personal shadow right now, not because there's anything wrong with it, but because it requires your attention. Like, I don't think she's gonna knock this over, but I still feel like I need to keep an eye on her while I'm doing this. Impartiality. Another challenge for you at this time could be the ability to see yourself from beyond yourself. Like you mentioned, like you're struggling to read for yourself, like read your own energy. I think a lot of the reason why that is because you might not have left yourself enough to see yourself accurately. Like you could be attached to like a material world position, which means like if we're talking about like trauma and that's any way like relevant to this, then that kind of makes sense because if you are committed to seeing yourself as like a victim or someone else is like a villain, it can be hard to see them exactly as they are because you kind of already like assign them a role, which may or may not be true considering their own perspective. Like in the case of my sister, I think sometimes she sees me as like a villain. Like I caused her pain, and that's the part of our relationship that she's like really like focused on right now, and that could be like totally valid for her, right? Because like who am I to say? But she's really like focused on the part where I left, it hurt her. Where there's like a whole bunch of stuff like kind of like goes around that like surrounds that situation. And there's a limit to that perspective because she's attached to her side where she's the one that gets hurt and can't really see me as maybe even being on the same side of my own situation where I'm the one who's getting hurt. Like she hasn't gotten to the point in her own journey where she can kind of see that whole thing. Like impartiality is like non-binary. Like it's like I'm not committed to seeing this in any one way. I think you might be more receptive to the guys that's coming through if you can kind of let go of your position in whatever situations could be coming up for you. Okay, because like Aries is, it can be a bit of a selfish placement. Like it can be like, this is me, this is how I do things, and I'm really confident in that, and I'm really confident in how I feel and where I want to go, and that's good. But the opposite side of that is Libra, where it's like the exact opposite. And it's like who I am is a part of this group. It's in relationship to other people, other things that are around me. Like it's hard to just be you. You also have to consider what's happening around yourself. I know I feel like I just said that, but I really feel like I need to emphasize that as the reader is you like if you're reading for yourself and you are like, oh, I don't know, this is like, because impartiality is really coming out here, so I don't know if it's like um biased. It's probably because you're not seeing it from the outside, which can sometimes be like impossible to do, right? So I wouldn't worry too much about like what you don't know, like what you aren't able to perceive because you can't give yourself the information, because I do feel like if you're still enough, whatever you need to find in terms of clarity will come to you. Like a lot of times, like I don't pull cards for myself. I usually pull them for my collective, like for people who are in the same spot as me, and that kind of helps me create an impartiality. Because messages can come through for me, but my intentions are to give them to other people. So it could be even like part of the reason why you could be guided to take a position of leadership is just so that you can understand yourself better through that leadership. Like if you're feeling like, hey, I want to start being a tarot reader, I want to start like reading cards for people, it could be because the universe is needing to like kind of get clear messages through to you. I know that that's to be true for myself because it's been a lot of times like over the years that I've been doing this, when someone would get a reading about like a situation that exactly mirrored mine, and in that way I wasn't projecting myself onto the situation. I could just see it as if it wasn't me that was in that same position. I hope that makes sense. Like even now, like with this request here, like I feel like I resonate with it a lot. Like there are like I started to learn how to code. I've been working on this business thing, but I've been neglecting it because I've been wondering whether or not I'm the leader that like this community needs me to be. Like I've been feeling like ever since maybe the end of last year, like I'm not, I don't want to say like I'm not a good person, but sometimes I feel like I'm not a good person. So then I'm like, well, you know, who am I to like do this? Can you stop hitting like, it's my shadow, cat. I'm talking about my shadow and then it's affecting the way I'm seen, you know, because like with my avoidance of my leadership comes the disappointment of other people. Um, so, you know, like be gentle with yourself also, because like I know that I say in the like in the description that I usually get these back in a month. I think it's been just about a month now. So like part of me is like kind of like, I know this took a long time, but I only really felt ready to do it right now, you know? So with the bittersweet energy and the vanity, it's like I have to believe that there's some kind of reason why I've been directed to behave this way. And I do believe that because I believe in like a divine orchestration. So even when I have like a time when I'm behaving in my flaw or like living in my flaw, and then I have to like present myself and everyone that's involved can see me in the flaw, I know that there's a value to that because I'm impartial to my own position as somebody who is in the leadership role and didn't do the A+ job that maybe I could have or would have done normally. Like, I've personally been going through a lot in terms of like my self-image and feeling ready to move on to the next thing in life, like the next stage in life, whatever. And then I feel like sometimes like the things that I try to do that feel like the next best thing to do or like the right thing to do to move forward or move on are not the right things to do. And then I've been dealing with this energy of like a lack of self-trust. Is this right? Why do I feel like this? I don't want to feel like this. How can I avoid this feeling that's uncomfortable for me? I think I used to be better at navigating things spiritually, but I'm honestly kind of out of the habit of being as spiritually healthy as I used to be. And I think part of the reason why that is because I'm living with like other people again, with my own family again. Like it's a lot easier to feel like you're in control of things when you're the only person that's involved in your picture. But it's harder when there's other variables. And then the card that I just pulled that just came out is Thinker, number 44, underneath Vanity in reverse. I don't like get this like really strong self-righteous energy off of you. Like I don't think that you're being called out for being vain in the same way as like, like I almost want to say like a narcissist. And you might have some like narcissistic traits. You might. But it doesn't really feel like that harsh. Because I feel like whatever those traits are, because I definitely have some of my own, are related to your pain and your trauma. Yeah. So if you are like being narcissistic right now, it's probably just because you're having a difficult time processing whatever that shadow cat energy is. But you shouldn't avoid it because I feel like the longer you do avoid it, the more shadow cat you are. Like, because the shadow cat is the way that you protect yourself from whatever feels like it's offensive. But it just kind of feels like there's opportunities for your shadow to like kind of rear its ugly head if you aren't really addressing and processing the things that are happening around you or in your life or that are dependent on you. Like you don't want to contribute to delays because you don't want to think about yourself or what you've done. And like another example of this for me recently, I was going through some like a little bit of like relationship turbulence with that one person I was mentioning before, like romantically, and a lot of it was like compiled. Like it just kind of like now that I'm looking at it, like from where I sit today, like and I didn't feel this way like 4 days ago, which is interesting and a testament to how much time can like allow things to change if you're like still enough to let it. Um, but I feel like this is like almost like a train wreck of emotions that I just moved through. Where maybe like a month ago, 2 months ago, I was feeling like almost like emotionally congested. And so I was like, well, I don't want to bring my emotional congestion to this relationship. So I'll do what I usually do and I'll just excuse myself entirely. And I'll be like, well, this is just too much for me because I'm too much for me right now. And so I'm gonna like just leave. and and so I left and I didn't talk to this guy for a month and I was telling myself that I didn't want to be around him and that like he wasn't good for me and um I was telling myself that I was better off like without him and I was like really reinforcing this idea in my mind that I was gonna be like over him and then I was leaving him in the past and like all that stuff and I was like yeah like I'm done like and then like a month passed and then I was like well I don't really want to be done anymore like I felt so overwhelmed by like everything not only in that relationship but then like my own personal life and all the new changes that had happened in my life since I moved away back from California back into my family's home and it was just like oh my god like I'm freaking out but I didn't really process it like I'm freaking out I processed it like you are the problem I'm removing you and you're bad and I'm gonna go get better and that's gonna only happen if you're not around and that's how I processed it and that wasn't really the healthiest way to process it so I kind of like kicked him on the way out and then I came back and then when I came back, I found out that while I was gone, he was doing all these other things. Um, and then that like really bothered me. And then I was like, oh my god, like everything is terrible. Like he's doing this and he's doing that, and he's with her and he's with them, and that made me more, and I felt even more out of control then because I was like, well, the things I do for me only result in you doing more things that make me feel like I'm hurting. So like, maybe it is you. Maybe you are the thing that hurts me. And so I got like revenge and then I was with somebody else and then that situation resulted in a problem, like an actual problem for me that I had to like think about resolving. And then I was like, well, the solution really isn't to go find and create more problems. Um, so basically, to make it short, I had to figure out that I was avoiding something. At the core of all this was me being avoidant of something that I needed to just pay more attention to. But I couldn't pay attention to it because emotionally I wasn't available for the thing that was causing me strife. And so I kind of disguised that source of pain as belonging to, like the blame for it belonging to someone else. Like situations that are causing you the most confusion right now, you might not be able to look outside of yourself for that answer. Like if you're feeling confused about your life and you try to pull some cards on your life, because and I'm only mentioning cards because she literally said that she's using tarot now. Um, you might still feel confused. It's because you're kind of like reading your own energy. Like you can't be a confused person and find clarity like in your own confusion. Like you might be able to find some clues, but it just kind of seems like you might need to take another route to finding the clarity that you're looking for. It might not be as easy as just doing a thing and then getting an answer like you would with like AI. You know, like asking a question like, you know, how many counties are in Georgia? Like it's not maybe just as simple as that because some of this energy doesn't really feel tangible because it is so much like personal, egoic, psychological. Like it requires some interpretation, which means it requires some time, it requires some self-study, it requires some analysis. Like I couldn't see that situation that I just described to you how I'm seeing it right now while I was still in it. Like I couldn't see it that way. I couldn't have broken it down that well because I was still living through the avoidancy. And I literally reached out to that person today and I was telling him I was like, "Well, I don't really want to be mad about that anymore." Cuz I like at this point we're like basically on like month 3 of me kind of being mad about something that happened that like I don't even really remember like how this even all started. Because it wasn't, and that's part of the reason why I know it wasn't him is because I don't remember what the thing was that even started the problem for me. I just started to like kind of combust, and he was just a part of it because he was in my life. So yeah, like nothing really had even changed for us as a duo, as a dynamic. It was pretty much the same as it had always been. To the sea in the reverse. Happy, happy. Mending, a change in the wind, soulmates, and round with building blocks at the bottom of the deck. So I don't know like where you could find yourself find the most resonance. Like you could feel like you're at the beginning of a train wreck, you could feel like you're in the middle of a train wreck, or you could feel like you're at the end of the train wreck. But it doesn't really matter. I feel like this message could kind of apply to you wherever you are. Because it's really just encouraging you in times of confusion to find the clarity that you need over time through thinking and processing, kind of maybe even independently. Now, I do feel like there could be like opportunities with the soulmate energy for you to like have really meaningful and productive conversations or like events moments if you need them, because you might. But ultimately, it feels like you find the answers to these confused moments for yourself within yourself without a lot not without a lot of assistance. And that's because this is related to this part of yourself, this shadowy, dark, only known to you. She doesn't like wander my house, she only stays in my room. Like that's the only place you'll ever find my black cat, is in my bedroom, probably sleeping on my bed. It's very personal energy for me, but very strong also. So very significant, can't be forgotten, can't be like neglected. If I did not acknowledge the parts of me that make me this dark and this black and this dense and this elusive and this avoidant, I would be a much worse person. So some of the things that like are coming up about you that you need to like fix. I know I'm saying fix like not because it's bad, but just because you might notice that there are aspects of yourself in this like darker aspect of self that you want to like either like how do I say it? I've been noticing with myself a tendency more recently to abuse substance. Does that mean never touch a substance ever again? Maybe not. But maybe when I notice that I'm abusing more substance, when I feel the urge to do that, I can ask myself just within myself in my own mind, what is it that I'm feeling that makes me want to do this thing? What is it that I'm escaping in this moment when I have the urge to use this vice? And then that self-knowledge like kind of in itself could be the beginning of a healing process for you. I hope that makes sense. Like whatever that thing is that makes you kind of dark or shadowy, it's not that you shouldn't have it, right? Like I recognize a need for myself to have this cat, but it doesn't mean that I let the cat do whatever it wants and like destroy me from the inside. But right now she's like being needy. I don't know if she's in heat or what, but she's being weird. She's taking an interesting shape right now. She's definitely taking an interesting shape. So maybe just pay attention to that. She needs my attention. Okay. So let me see what else I can say about this. I'm gonna use the animal apothecary because the animals are important. Wow, that was really athletic of you. I love when my pets do athletic stuff. I have athletic animals. Okay. So, what is some of the healing advice right now for Isabella? What does she need to hear from her guides? Oh shit, we have victory. And then unknown gift, two birds. I used the phrase victory over death, I think to Sky, like in the past few days. And I kind of felt like I had victory over death. Oh, this is 40 and 41, by the way. So we're moving forward really nicely in this energy. I don't think everything to worry about. Like, even if you're still right now and you're like, fuck, I still don't know anything. Things are still like transitioning. I don't really trust anybody. Da, 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 da. Like whatever those like negative feelings are, they're still like they're necessary to you moving forward. So like it's not a bad thing if you feel uncomfortable. Um, but yeah, victory over death. I kind of felt like there was this energy of like death kind of either cast or just naturally occurring over my life for like the past couple weeks. Like I've been really feeling like shit. Like ask anybody who's been around me, I've really just not been myself. Like it's just been weird for me personally. Um, like I lost my job. Like it was like a server job. I only had it for like a month, but but like stuff was just kind of like going away, and like it was something I kind of wanted to like persist, but I'm not so attached to that it felt like a major loss. But regardless to whatever could be going on in your life, it still feels like you're in a good position. Like victory and unknown gift. Like things are unfolding in your life in a way that I think will ultimately leave you feeling empowered with this crown. Even if that's happening through some kind of like unknown mechanism. Because like what I've been thinking is like I'm not working at a job anymore, but I didn't work a job for 2 years before this, so like I don't really need a job. Like, I could make money if I just reapplied myself to the things that were working for me before. Like, I think a lot of this is like refinding self. Because you see this big, like, yellow circle around this guy. So yellow is like the solar plexus in the chakra system, and I'm even wearing a yellow shirt today. So like, yeah, like I'm myself again, and I'm like back and I'm making this content, and it's hopefully helping you. Um, but purpose, the sun. Like, why am I here? Like why am I here? There could be something about asking yourself that question, because it's coming on top of thinker and vanity in reverse. I thought that I was here because I was supposed to be like working, like being a normal person in the world and having a job and stuff like that. But what if like my version of normal is just like not normal? Like, what if I'm not meant to be like formally employed? What if I'm meant to just really run my own business and I can just accept that and it not be a bad thing? Because most of the reason why I'm back here now is because I was afraid that I was gonna like lose my ability to make money independently. Because I was making enough money to pay my rent and everything when I was still in California, and my rent wasn't like super expensive or anything. It was just that whenever the TikTok ban was like threatened for like that time, I was afraid that I was gonna like lose my security. So I kind of like gave up my passion to do this because I felt like I was being attacked. Like I kind of felt like, well, at the time I felt like I was being attacked from like all different kinds of directions for all different kinds of reasons. But I think I'm meant to be allowing myself to regroup, like personally, like redefine who I am as a person so that I can then speak to people who are like me. And I was talking to my aunt about this because she also does TikTok influencing, and she was telling me that the algorithm probably has kind of like forgotten who I am now because I haven't been engaged like I used to be. I used to post a video like every single day, and then I used to get like 20, 30,000 views on my videos, and my account was growing and everything. And it's actually been like I've been losing followers over the past few months because I haven't been like active. And then like I don't really care about that. Like I've like gotten in my journey in social media like far past the point where I feel like my follower count actually defines my quality, because I witnessed people who had like 150,000 followers for their TikTok stuff, and their like tarot reading, and they created like way worse quality stuff in my opinion than I did. So I'm okay with like my content really just being like for an elite select group, because I feel like that's what I am. Like I feel like my self concept is something that reflects rank. Like I'm kind of like I'm not your average American. But, so I mean, it makes sense to me that like not everybody can really relate, because like how could they if I'm this awesome? So there could be some kind of like mentality shifts that you need to kind of take on that will help you move through this energy of transition. It's like, if things are being left behind, if I'm not being accepted in certain spaces, is it probably just a reflection of the fact that I don't belong there, that I'm better than that situation, that I could be involved in something more and greater? Like, does it have to be a negative thing, or can I see this as like a sign from the universe that I need to move on to the next step? Like, this is moving from 40 to 41. It's a natural progression. Like, it's expected, it's linear. It's like the things that are happening in your life might feel uncomfortable, but they might actually be for the best. When you have sacred boundaries, more like sun energy, like more me and my power. So you might feel weird about like thinking a lot about yourself as like a powerful person. I don't know how you feel about it. Like for me, I'm kind of in the habit of thinking of myself as like one of the best, because there's been a lot in my life that reflects that to me. Like my own personal achievements, even just in school, or in sports. Like I was an anchor on my relay team. Um, I graduated high school with like a 4.2 GPA. I was freshman body president, junior body vice president, senior senator. Like this is like I get like chosen for stuff. People want to see me kind of like shake my tail feathers. Lots of birds on these cards. Lots of birds. Like my tail feathers have something in them that people want to be a part of. And it's not everybody, but it's those select few people who really need to hear it. And so I think that there's a value here for you to kind of like reinforce in your own mind your prestige, max prestige, and let that kind of be like exciting, you know. I got voted in school like most likely to be an author, most likely to be president. Like think about the things that were kind of like given to you without you even having to like really try for those things. Like just because of how you naturally are. I always really like the dance. I've been dancing more, letting myself be seen dancing. And then I was around a younger cousin just yesterday, and she's the dancer type of little kid too. So I got to like watch myself like in her. Like I was watching my like she's like maybe like 5 years old. She's like if even that like maybe like 4, 5 years old. She's like dancing and she's like dancing for the whole family and it's like in her living room and she's like being cute and like a baby. And I was like I was just like that. Like this is where I come from. Like this is me. But back then and it makes total sense to me that I am how I am now because I can see where I was then. And if you didn't have anybody or like anything when you were younger to validate the things that make you special, you could really struggle to do this. So this could be another reason why you need to find out what those strengths are or were and then really give yourself love. Like when it comes to doing them and then also allowing them to be seen. Because I have an aunt and she was telling me about my cousin who's apparently like really good at the guitar. But I never knew that she's good at the guitar because I've never heard her play the guitar. But imagine if she's like, a prodigy. It's not like it wouldn't be crazy. Like it really wouldn't be crazy if she was a prodigy like musically because things like that kind of like run in our family. Like it's kind of natural. Like my dad played the oboe. I was in the choir of my childhood church. And then once again like all these birds. So it really does feel like it's related to self-expression. In whatever way you're choosing to do that, whether it's like style or it's like music, whether you're playing it or you're like DJing it, like you're the guy who gets aux, or it could be that you're good with art, whether it's curating it, like decorating a space, or it's literally making it. Um, my cousin was showing me he made some clothes, like some jackets, and he let me like try them on, and he had this one that was made in like China and then one that was made like somewhere else, and then like the quality was different, and he was telling me about that, and I was telling him like you should make these, like you should mass produce these, like they're good. And if you haven't been sent someone in your life yet to like reaffirm you that what you have to offer is of quality, like I feel like that comes naturally as you begin the process. Like you might have to create more avenues for people to appreciate what you have to offer. So this could be a good time to like kind of brainstorm how you're gonna do that. Like I read tarot for 5 years before I ever made an account reading tarot. So I didn't even know how like goated I was because I didn't even know who else was really out there doing it. Yeah, I started reading tarot when I was 14. When I started selling it, it was like $25 for like a full personal reading. And now I'm selling them for like 100. You know? I've definitely grown since I started, but like to me it feels impressive because you said we have evolved into your complexity. Because I know and I can see myself having evolved over time. And we have attract through glow. I feel like you're gonna be attracting people in your collective if you're doing like a spiritual kind of a thing, which I feel like you could end up doing and be successful with. You're gonna attract people who feel just as confident in themselves as you feel in you. So that's why it's really important for you to have that self confidence, because you can't really protect it if you don't have it. Not like effectively over the long term. Because anybody who ever like faked anything usually got caught faking it. So that if you're like feeling like, well, I don't feel ready, then it's probably just because you're still developing that like me. Like, who am I? Like, what am I bringing to the table? Because I don't really just bring anything to the table. Like, I do other stuff. Like, I'm an artist in other ways. But this is the thing. This is the part of my purpose that I feel like I'm meant to share the most. Like, I've made music, and I've painted things, and I've made clothes. But this is what I do. I tell my story. So this kind of just feels like a time when your story could still be unfolding, and you're also at the same time learning how to tell your story, either as it unfolds or you're learning how to talk about what's already happened in ways that can help other people because of that like black cat similarity. Like, oh, you're different or weird or wounded or hurt or strange in the same way that I am. We have just trust and no expectations. Yeah, I mean it's pretty hands off. And then we have nourishment while waiting. So don't worry too much about like when you reach the destination. Like when my dad was even driving us to and from Ohio, I I think I probably asked him like how much longer was in the trip like a couple times. Like it wasn't a lot. And I didn't like look at the GPS to know like what state we were in. I didn't really care like when we got there. I was just there for the ride, like really the whole time. And I was like staring out the window and like looking at the cars that were going by, like looking kind of for signs because I actually saw a sign for the person that I mentioned before, like the guy. His last name was on one of the billboards, which is crazy. And we also saw this one sign that was like Jesus or hell, like a couple times. So like I don't know. You know, you can feel like you have like some choices to make, and your surrounding environments I feel like could be helpful for you if you're like struggling to interpret your own feelings. There could be some little nudges, literally, available from your own angelic protection to kind of help you out with that. I love choking this thing. Okay, where else do I want to take this message? I'm gonna use this tarot deck, but I gotta figure out what I'm gonna ask it. I want to ask it what you're leaving behind. This is a kind of like a deathy kind of deck. It's a skeleton deck. I work a lot of like with the energy of death because I'm a fucking weirdo. But death is everywhere, like all the time. Like it really is. I wonder how you feel about death. Like what your relationship to death is. Like, are you afraid to die or what? Maybe you could ask yourself like, what do you think happens after you die? Maybe you could ask yourself who's already died who might be easy to connect with. Because you mentioned like wanting to connect with your own spiritual guides. One of my favorite guys to connect with is my dead grandfather. Because I know that guy. Like, I know him, so it's easy to see him in the world, you know? Also, I saw my uncle's name on a billboard too, and he passed over. And he's he's also has the same first name as the person who attended me at birth, like the doctor. And the engine just revs. So I know for a fact my uncle Keith like looks up for me because he was literally there when I was born, and I never met this guy. Yeah, there could be like a family member that you kind of resemble, or if not like in the face, but like in aura, like in energy. Like you could be a legacy to someone. I know my grandfather had a favor for me. Cause he made sure that he basically paid for my first car when I graduated high school and college at the same time. And I think I deserve that, but like I don't think he did that for anybody else. And then the shadow cat meows behind the scenes where you can't see her. So there could be some resentment that other people have towards your blessings. Because you are sitting in this like rather victorious energy with this unknown gift. And so people could be like comparing themselves to you and thinking like, you know, what's the difference between me and you? And how do I close that gap? And that's natural too. So I mean, it's not something that you have to like look down on people for, but you should be aware of it happening so it can't interfere with you getting to where you need to be. Yeah? So what should Isabella be letting go of in order to stay in alignment with these greater timelines? What does she need to let go of? The Moon, King of Pentacles in reverse, and the Six of Cups. Dude. These could be some close relationships. There could be some people in your life who you're better off having some distance from. If not like forever, then just like right now. These could be maternal figures. They could be masculine. Normally I'd be like, oh my god, be quiet. But you literally mentioned my cat in your reading request. So I'm hoping that you can interpret my cat as like as a tool too. Because you'll know what this means for you better than I know what this means for you, you know? But there could definitely be some people who are close to you who you kind of need to, like, if not reconsider, then just, like, keep an eye on. She's in my ear now. She's literally licking my ear. Like, whispering things in my ear. What the fuck? That's crazy. Knight of Cups in reverse. This could be your own doubt. It doesn't have to be anybody else. It could be, like, your own shadow. Like, do you have, like, another voice in your head or something like that? Do you hear things, like ghosts or something like that? You could even be about to, like, discover some new abilities. I was just staying in Ohio in an Airbnb, and I'm pretty sure the reason why this place is an Airbnb is because there were spirits in there, and I could literally hear them. So I would say, like, the moon is here, but this could be the dark side of the moon. And letting go of it doesn't really mean, like, dismissing it, avoiding it, like I mentioned before. Like, it really kind of means more facing it, exchanging with it, interacting with it. There's a dark side of the moon in your life that you probably need to interact more directly with. She's literally spreading the cards all around. When I first started reading tarot, I didn't shuffle the cards like this. I laid all of them on the table, and then I just moved my hands through them. And then I just picked out the ones that I feel like I wanted to. I didn't read them like this until a lot later. And now that she's doing this, it looks confusing because I don't even know, like, she's messed up my spread. There was an organizational element to this reading, but she's very much involved in it. To the point where I'm trying to get annoyed. Like, get out of my way. I'm letting the sound of the fish tank calm me. Three of Pentacles in reverse. This is a good time to ask yourself, like, what's not working. And it's important that you are impartial about that decision making, and that you're not, like, once again, not seeing yourself as one of the things that may not be working. I don't know that if you need to let go of anything or if you just need to address certain things. And it could be that addressing certain things helps you let go of things, but just immediately flipping into letting go could actually make things worse for whatever reason. Like, I mentioned the whole, like, daddy issues things or whatever. Like, I ran away from home just to end up coming back, like, 2 years later. So it's like... I don't regret it, or, like, you know, I know why I did what the things that I did, but it's like, you know... Maybe in another life, if I had more peace internally, I would have stayed and just dealt with it, or, like, just figured it out while I was still in the environment. But for whatever reason, I felt like I needed to get out of town, and that just, like, really set off a series of events in my life that were, like, character defining, albeit, but not, like, easy. Like, I went through some of the worst stuff just because I wanted to be alone. Queen of Cups. Yeah, it feels like if you do need to let go of some things emotionally, it's things that are old. The Devil, yeah. The stuff that kind of, like, holds you back or holds you down. This could be, like, grudge energy. This could be fear energy. Shame energy. And it's like all of these, like, the fear, the shame, the grudges, those are common. Those are understandable. Those are expected when you go through some kind of cause and effect here that you would know for yourself. This could be trauma. But it's still like there's only a certain amount of productivity to having an attachment to those feelings. Like, it's not productive for me to be resentful of my parents. Do I have reasons to be resentful of my parents? Absolutely. I could list them, and it would be a long list. but it's not productive. It doesn't serve me, it doesn't serve them, it doesn't serve anybody. It just kind of contributes to, like, stagnation. But you do have to acknowledge that those feelings exist in order to dismiss them. And I don't really mean dismiss them as in, like, get rid of them, but just, like, you have to go through the process of having these situations and having these repercussions and having these consequences. Like, you have to like really just go through the motion here, and you're encouraged to kind of like attack these situations, like attack them, conquer them. Like for me, it required like going out into the world, cause I was thinking like, it's so bad in here. Like it's so bad in here that I gotta get out of there. I gotta go. So then I was like, okay, well, I'm gonna get gone, and then I realized it's bad everywhere. Like everything is bad. In fact, it gets worse. So like, what I used to resent and hate and feel confined by, I began to understand why I should feel grateful for it. And then I was stuck with this cognitive dissonance where I was like, how can I feel grateful for pain? You know, how can I feel grateful for terrible things? And I had to go through that process where I was like, two things can be true at one time. And I mentioned, I think, duality at the beginning of this reading. Like, attachment to personal position kind of leaves you confined in one way of seeing a situation, which just kind of feels like it makes it harder for you to process maybe certain things that happened for you in life. And it isn't really about like making an excuse for anyone or even yourself. It's just kind of like reality. Because the devil is not a card that like talks about ideal situations. Like it just doesn't. It's like all about like being trapped, and it sucks, and you're in hell, and it's burning, and it's hot, and it's uncomfortable when you're sweating. Like nothing super comfortable about the devil being here in this reading from a skeleton deck about what you need to let go of. You know, like, and there could be something with like the Saturn energy, like where you were made from some kind of hellish environment or circumstance. Like part of who you are as a person is the fact that you're acquainted with this hellish, devilish thing, dark thing, bad thing, sinful thing. And it's for that exact reason, because of how core it is to you, that you have to like really process it, unpack it, understand either why you're committed to maintaining it or how you're gonna like move around it. Like adapt to it as being part of your default settings, kind of a thing. Because like I mentioned, my home, like growing up, like you can't really choose who your family is, your siblings are. Like, you know, you just straight up are born into situations and usually have to stay there till you're around 18. And that's just whatever suffering you're doing is just because God wanted you to, you know, kind of thing. And I don't mean to like make fun. It's just kind of like that's the rhetoric. Is like, you know, you wouldn't have been given a set of circumstances if you weren't meant to have them. And then depending on what your philosophy is, some people even think that you choose your life before you live it. So you already agreed to like suffer in certain ways. My cat is now drinking out of the fish tank. There could be something, you know, fish, you know, it could be like religious symbols, philosophical kind of energy. So you could maybe benefit from like doing research. I really loved getting into Buddhism. Buddhism really kind of like hit it for me because of the whole like, you know, suffering is inevitable kind of a thing. Like how do you suffer? Like, what's your personal brand of suffering? Like when you're suffering, what are you doing? Like how you? Because I know some people who suffer like they want to drink. Some people want to party. I noticed that in myself. Like I like when I'm going through like the worst stuff. Like I want to move my body. Like I like to move my body. I like to go to the gym when I'm suffering. I like to run specifically when I'm suffering. So the treadmill is awesome because I can literally run in one spot and it's like awesome. I also like to substance abuse when I'm suffering because I do benefit from having a bit of a buffer between me and reality. But I have to be careful with that one because it's expensive to substance abuse the way that I usually do when I'm suffering the most. Um, Also, I tend to start to feel like another version of myself that I'm not normally, obviously, because I'm abusing a substance. It's like I'm creating that buffer, but then that buffer itself can be like a liability for me because I'm not perceiving reality as it actually is. Um, and then I also tend to like go through occasional phases of like complete, just outright and direct self destruction. Like I'm harming myself. I also sometimes will just change my entire image. So like I'll cut my hair off or like change my style or something like that. Get a piercing, get a tattoo. It kind of ties into like the direct harming of self. Yeah. So that's me. But like, what do you do? And you might want to like ask yourself those questions because it could help you understand yourself and then understand what it is that you're trying to navigate within yourself. Because I know sometimes when I feel like I want to feel pain, like it's because I'm already like feeling like some kind of like emotional pain. Like I need to make it real for myself. So sometimes I find myself like literally creating external problems to match my internal feelings. And that can take place in like I could start an argument kind of a thing. Like I could like I mentioned my person. Poor guy. But like like sometimes it's convenient for me to like find a person and like be like you're the villain and the bad things that happen in my life are because you did them. And with him it's like, we've been like it's been a long term situation where like it's kind of almost easy for him to be the villain. Like it's probably not great, but yeah. That's kind of like our dynamic is like he doesn't do something and then I'm like, you're not doing it. But I don't. Most of the time, I don't even really. I just like I already have that feeling. Sometimes of like I'm lacking something, and then I can literally see a relationship, and I'm like, well, this is how exactly I'm lacking in this particular situation. So I'll focus on that. But in reality, I'm lacking in a lot of different other ways. So it's not like he's the only thing in my life that. Yeah. I hope that makes sense. I know I'm not just rambling. Okay. Anyways, there's two more cards I need to pull for this little section, and I'm gonna do that. Why is the Knight of Cups here? Ace of Wands. Wow. And then a star. The Fool in reverse. Um, you might not find a lot of help. This feels like a file where you gotta really know how to help yourself because I feel like you're the one who helps other people. And that kind of sucks sometimes when you like find yourself falling into that slot in like every area of your life. It's like, well, I'm the one who carries the torch. I'm the guy who has the answers. Um, because you just really like people just don't really know what to say to you when you have a problem, or if you needed help with something, like they wouldn't help you or couldn't help you, kind of a thing. But that's okay because I feel like for you particularly, whatever you can't get from other people, like kind of God will just hand to you on like a silver platter. Like here you go. Like I have this tarot thing, so like if I need to make money, I can literally just come on here and be like, okay, well, if anybody needs help, I'm here, and the people will literally come and give me money, and it's awesome. But like my dad, he's a man, and he believes in things he can see, so he day trades, you know. So I mean, it's like that kind of a thing where you figure out what your skill set is, like figure out how you're carrying the torch, and then you just carry your torch, and then you allow that light to attract in the things that you need. You trade too? Cool. Cool. Men. Men in the chat. That's awesome. Um, yeah, because it just kind of feels like it's almost expected that you would be lacking support because of your elevation. Like, obviously, you're standing on something, but you're standing on that platform kind of to reach down, not so much to reach up. But don't worry about that because somebody or something or some angel is already reaching down to you. It's kind of just about like being available for the help that's available. Which for you, if this is like spiritual help, this could be like the time when you really want to figure out how you cope. And then if you realize that any of those coping mechanisms kind of make you unavailable for higher guidance, you might want to either like pull back on those or just find other ways um, to kind of cope. Cope has been like a big word for me recently because I feel like I've really just kind of been coping recently. Um, which I think just life. Because you really can't always control what the hell's going on. And it feels like for you, like stuff could really be going on. The devil, the ace of wands, the star, the moon. Like things could feel like they're changing for you emotionally, but the material situation could not be changing a lot. So it's like kind of how you feel about what's already been happening or what's happening that's not likely to change anytime soon. And then you're kind of like, your actions are created by how you feel. Like, oh, this is making sense. I'm trying to explain it the best way I can. God help me. Um, but if you're feeling like, oh my god, I hate this, I want to leave, then you'll leave, kind of a thing. Like most people, their actions kind of follow their mind. Like you manifest from your mind, and so, your mind goes first, and then everything else follows it. Which is part of the reason why I feel like it's important to kind of be aware of what's going on there. Like keep your shadow under control. But she was running around rampant, making noises, being weird, destroying things, clawing at things, moving the cards all around, and now she's cuddled up with me at the end of this reading. Like, yeah. Now she's behaving as expected. Yeah. I don't think there's anything else I want to say in this reading. I don't know if you have a person. Hey, does Isabella have a crush on anybody? I feel like you might have your eye on someone. Because she's like nuzzling my shut up and hunt hat. I'm a real deal stalker when it comes to my person, so. I even wanted to like low key learn how to hack just so I could stalk him. Digitally. I'm gonna clear this out and then I'm just gonna like try to see if I can tell you anything about like some of those like more personal relationships you might be having. I'm also gonna like hit my vape. Cause I like to. Nobody's really judging me, but sometimes I feel judgment for like my vices and like I need I feel like I need my vices, dude. I feel like my vices are saving me from a lot of just bad stuff. There's stuff that I could be doing that I'm not doing, and a lot of it's because I'm viced out. And I have a white dog, and I've been learning German for like almost 200 days now. And the word for white in German is literally Weiss. Mein Weisshund. So like, I think there's some kind of built-in padding for me when it comes to me and my vices. Like, I think it's understood by like the man above that I would do this, that I'd have these vices. Like, I don't think he holds it against me. Anyways, yeah. Okay, so what does Isabella need to know? I feel like you have a person. I don't want to like assume, but I kind of feel like you do. So we'll just talk about it. Who could be the person in Isabella's life, and what does she need to know about them? Ten of Pentacles in reverse. Nine of Wands in reverse. Queen of Swords in reverse. Oh, everything's in reverse. Eight of Cups in reverse. The Devil upright. Wow. The one card that's upright is the Devil. Oh, wow. The Magician's in the reverse. This could be one of those areas of your life where your shadow is kind of like being highlighted. Four of Pentacles in reverse. And the Nine of Swords in reverse. The only card that is in reverse is the Devil. So if there is a person in your life, it definitely feels like you could be feeling stuck in a situation. Like you're not making progress, or you're not moving forward, or things aren't going to plan, or you're not communicating, you don't know what's on their mind. You're not sure whether or not to give up, you're not sure if they're coming back, you're not sure about anything. That could be like, this situation between either one person, or this could just be like an overarching thing, because love is ruled by Venus, and Venus also rules career. So a lot of times you might notice that like I just oh my god, every time I whatever. So yeah, love and career sometimes can like mirror each other. So you might just feel like some of the things that you want in life that you're pushing forward towards are like stuck behind like a locked door. And there could be some actual material steps that need to be taken before you can unlock that door, like before you can get that key. Like when I applied for my apartment, I had to go through the application process. And then I had to follow up with the office, the leasing office. And then I met the people who were there. And then they gave me the key. And then I moved in, and I had to put the deposit down and all that stuff. There could be like some literal steps to take. I've been thinking about learning how to code more seriously. Once I get a certificate for that, I could get a job in like cybersecurity. So if that's what I want to do, I kind of need to follow up with the like course and make sure I'm doing it like when I'm supposed to do it. Um, so it just kind of seems like you might struggle to motivate yourself and kind of like pull your feet out of the mud, because you could be stomping through mud right now, but that could be the thing that kind of makes the like getting what you want more rewarding in the end. It's like, I did the harder stuff to deserve this. And in a relationship right now, if this is a relationship to another person, you could be feeling frustrated because you're not feeling like you're getting what you deserve out of the situation. Like you're being mistreated, or like made to suffer unnecessarily. But I wouldn't hold on too much to that feeling of pain if you ultimately want to get to a better outcome. Because the Ten of Pentacles is the first card that came out. It did come out in the reverse, so it doesn't feel like it's accessible right now. But there is like a bounty to be gained. It just might come through adversity in some kind of way. And the reason why I say that is because that's actually the card that's clarified by the Devil, which is the Saturn card. It's like you gotta do the like really hard stuff first, and then everybody's like, wow, you did a great job on that really hard stuff. We think you deserve good things now. You've suffered enough, and now we're gonna give you something good. And that good thing could be like closer than you even think or even know. Like it might just be a matter of doing the second step, third step, and fourth step before the fifth step leads you to the result. And you might not even know that it's that close. Because you're only in your position. Which is that like weird thing. Because I'm talking about like getting outside of your position to see things that in a way that makes it easier to navigate the situation. But that's not always super easy to do. So I wouldn't worry too much about it, because I feel like you're protected through all this. You might not need to know what step 3 is or step 2 is if you're only at step 1. It might be more important to just focus on where you are. Which kind of seems like contradicting advice, but it's not really. Because if you can't see from beyond your position, then you probably should just focus in on where you are, and not allow what you don't know to confuse you to a point of being discouraged by what you don't know. Like if this is a relationship where you having like no contact or like because the magician is rule Mercury and it's in the reverse. Um, it is a situation where you're not getting like feedback from someone that could be like behind a door, and the door is an actual door. It could be time. It's like it's more intangible thing where like what I want isn't necessarily unavailable to me. It just kind of has to be earned either through like patience or determination, persistence against an odd because the devil's are by Capricorn, which is the goat. It climbs the mountain. And it doesn't necessarily have like there's no stairs cut into the mountain. It's like a raw natural earth made structure through like tectonic plates and shit and you're just climbing what's available with the available resources. And you might have to climb up to a certain extent and then you get to that point and you're like, well, there's no more places to put my feet. I gotta go back down. Or like around to find another way up. And that could be where you are right now. And I can understand why that's frustrating because it's like, well, I thought this was like the best path and it's not the best path. It's not working. Like the way that I'm trying to do this right now isn't working. What do I do different? And like I can't even tell you like verbatim what that next thing is that you should try. But I think the point of me being here is to tell you to keep trying. Like don't give up. Don't become overwhelmed by your own thoughts. Especially if those thoughts are based in your shadow and your fears. Yeah? Stay optimistic about whatever you can achieve in whatever situation because I feel like you're not really meant to be feeling punished by your circumstances. And you might not be getting all the positive feedback that you want right now, but I do feel like your efforts are seen. And whatever tolerance you have for difficult things is appreciated. Okay. Anything you want to say to Isabella since you met up with her in my dreams? Or her dreams? Anything you want to say? No? Okay. Well, that's all I have for you today, folks. This reading in my Linky cat. I like using her as a gun. Alright. Bye, guys.